Yes, before I get started, my wife is the next speaker after me, and she has yielded her time to me. So, my name is Gil Barela, 103 Cardinal Avenue, Loveland. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Langner, for having the meeting on Saturday. I do know that I have been critical of you at times, and we've had both public and private conversations and I appreciate your time, and I want you to know that that I appreciate that time that you've given us. What I'd like to discuss tonight, though, is the current way, Mr. President and Mr. Kerrigan, that you have behaved as a chair of these proceedings, and also the way the meeting's being run. The current rules and policies that we have in place are that these proceedings are held according to Robert's rules. Both you and Mr. Miller seem to think otherwise, and you both make rulings based on some rules. God knows where you get them. But I could tell you this, that even the Colorado Department of Education, the U.S. Congress, and the U.S. Senate even uses Robert's rules. And the women in this room ought to be proud. For the first time, our country has delegated that 2 women be the parliamentarians for the U.S. Senate this year. So that is a great accomplishment. If you say that we're not using Robert's rules, anytime you as a body take a vote, you are using Robert's rules. Although they may have a place, it is certainly not in these proceedings that you have your special rules. In addition, neither you or Mr. Miller follow your own rules, and at the very least, you're inconsistent with your rulings. Let's first discuss a motion to go into executive session. At each and every meeting I have been to, I have watched you never, with the exception of tonight, take a vote to move to the discussion or to the executive session. You entertain a motion, it's seconded, and then you don't even ask for discussion. Then you never take a vote. You just adjourn the meeting and you go into executive session. You're out of order at that point. The meeting, once it has begun, when you call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock, and I hope I don't make you fall asleep there, Mr. Kerrigan, but once you have begun a meeting, the meeting can only be adjourned once. And the proper way is to recess the meeting, not to adjourn. Plus, you must have a discussion and a majority vote to enter into an executive session. Then at 2 meetings ago, when there was a motion to amend the agenda, both you and Mr. Miller were wrong again. You do not have to have every one of the board in attendance to amend the agenda, and then you do not have to have a unanimous vote. The agenda is approved by a majority until the agenda is approved. Then it becomes the property of the board, and in order to make any amendments, then it would take a 2/3 vote. To show further that you are not consistent, when Ms. Montague, on February 12th, the agenda was amended that evening, and not a one of you said a word as to that you could not amend the agenda, and you did not have, and I believe it was because you and Mr. Miller did not have your plan in place at that time. It is completely proper to amend the agenda without all the members being present. Let's say, for instance, that God forbid one of you right before a meeting takes ill, and you cannot attend the meeting. Does that mean that you as a chair will rule that the meeting cannot be conducted for the rest of the evening and the district cannot do business that evening because one member has been sick? I don't think you're going to do that. And so your rule does not apply in that situation. And either it applies or it doesn't apply. Mr. Sparks from Mr. Miller's law firm was in attendance at the first few meetings after you hired him. And when he was asked on certain issues, he ruled against you on 4 separate occasions. And I assume that's why he is no longer at any of our meetings. So now we come to tonight, Mr. Kerrigan. Tonight today you were quoted in the Reporter Herald that we were once again going to the discussion phase of High Plains. That is not true. The board was in the action phase, and you, the majority, chose to table the motion. You as a board do not get to go back to square one and start all over again. A motion would be in order to take High Plains School from the table with no discussion. Then the subject, High Plains, in this case, again, would advance to the action phase. To either take a motion from the table or put on the table does not require any discussion. A motion then would be in order by one of the members of the board to move forward with the High Plains School, and it would then be debated again if necessary, and I am sure that Mr. Jones and his staff are here and prepared to answer any of your follow-up questions that you may have that you said you still have in the newspaper today. Then a vote should be taken to either approve or disapprove by majority whether you're going to approve the school or not. You as the chair do not get a second bite of the apple, nor does your lawyer. And the reason I say your lawyer is he is providing services to you and your vice president. He's not providing services to any one of us in this room. On February 5th, when you voted to hire Mr. Miller, you moved an item from discussion, to the action of hiring him, and you did so at that meeting. So you are so inconsistent with your rules that you are horrible as a chair. I have witnessed your antics between you and Mr. Miller, and I find them disgraceful. You both are twisting the rules to please your needs and wants. I used to find them, when I first started coming to these meetings, I used to find them very amusing, but I don't find them amusing anymore. You are not here for the people of this community, and Brad Miller surely isn't. The almighty buck controls that guy. I feel it is time to possibly rid ourselves of both of you. Thank you very much.